From his rich dad. You have to know these two words, assets and liabilities. Now, forget what you might have learned in your accounting classes. We're going to define them in very simple terms. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money from your pocket. Anything can be an asset or a liability. If you own a house and it eats $1,000 a month, then it's a liability. If you own a house and it brings in $1,000 a month, then it's an asset. Assets are things like businesses, real estate, paper assets, things like stocks and bonds. Here's why knowing this distinction is so important. Really try to focus on this. The poor only have expenses. The rich buy assets, and the middle class buy liabilities that they think are assets. After graduating, if I had followed everybody's advice, I would have gotten a job which increases my income, but there are so many problems with that. As I got my job, my girlfriend and I would have moved into a bigger house. We would have gotten a BMW in addition to our Mustang. I would have bought the iPhone 6. The problem with all of this is that I would think I was acquiring assets while I was actually acquiring liabilities. I would have to pay every month for the house, for the car, for my expensive phone. In essence, unless you make a paradigm shift about what you do with your money, which is to buy actual assets, no matter how much income you earn from your job, you will just match it with your liabilities and expenses. Your friends might admire your iPhone 6 and you might look rich, but you will never actually be rich. Now, there's nothing wrong with having your job. I just don't have one because I'm operating from the assets quadrant. But if you are following the standard narrative of going to school and getting a job, chances are you're acquiring liabilities which you think are assets. That is the problem. So keep your job, but make sure what you earn goes mostly towards real assets rather than liabilities that seem like assets. And yes, eventually when you acquire enough assets, you won't need your job either. It absolutely blows my mind how people say, well, what if I lose money with the business, or the real estate, or the paper assets? They don't say the same thing about buying their second enormous TV, which will be worthless in a year and which creates a liability every month. I would rather lose all of my money starting a business than lose it by buying yet another TV I don't need. Even if I lost all my money, the lessons learned from starting a business would be infinitely more valuable than watching Dr. Phil. Here's another problem. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. If I told you I was going to pay you $1 million a month, but then I took away $999,999, you'd have to be an idiot if you said you were making $1 million. My dad told me, become a doctor and you will be rich. Yet a doctor pays a half or even more of what he earns just to the government. You get taxed when you earn, you get taxed when you spend, you get taxed when you save, and guess what? You get taxed when you die. On the other hand, you could operate from the assets quadrant and pay sometimes 0% in taxes. I have doctor friends who are more financially anxious than my absolutely broke friends.